Story of my life. All my best work has been scrubbed.
Story of my life.
Welcome to Oddball. I'm Amin Elhassan. That over there is Charlotte Wilder. Hell of a show for you guys today. Charlotte thought that background would be different by now, but nope. Sticking with the basketball. Sticking with the old genie bus.
Well, you know, I mean, sometimes when you're trying to figure out what background to put up for a basketball show, this is all that comes into your head, and here we are.
It just dominates your head, like your brain is like, basketballs,
Yeah.
put some basketballs, how about some basketballs? Hear me out on this one, basketballs. And you're like, oh.
They're just bouncing around my head. That's the inside of my brain, I mean. That's what we're working with.
Well, it is a basketball show, this is true, and basketball is something Canada's not going to be playing again for quite a while because they got beat today. They lost to Serbia earlier this morning. And Dillon Brooks, ladies and gentlemen, Dillon Brooks would proclaim himself the greatest defender in the world. I guess did well as the second leading scorer today, but as our producer Hollywood points out, if Dillon Brooks is your second leading scorer, something has gone awfully wrong.
I guess this loss makes me think, okay, maybe he's Canadian. Does that make sense? I don't even fully know what I mean, but it just feels right.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. You're calling Canada a country of losers. You're calling them America Junior, and you'll never be better than Big Brother. And it's fine.
Yeah.
I love xenophobic Charlotte, even though not quite my sensibilities, but you know,
only towards
it.
Canada. Only towards Canada. I'm just kidding. I've never even been to Canada, and everybody I know from Canada is very nice. I don't really know where that came from.
Which is funny because based on where you're from, I thought you could see Canada from your back door.
Yeah.
That's a Sarah Palin reference. Y'all don't remember that, huh? Yeah. That was a time, wasn't it? When Sarah Palin was like the dumbest politician. And now it's like we got a whole landscape of them. But I digress. We've got a great show for you guys today. That's right. I just veered into political, Amin.
Wow.
Basketball, Amin, let you know we're doing another version of Hype Me Up, maybe. Sarah Palin will be in the Hype Me Up cards. I don't know. Charlotte, are you ready to hype up Sarah Palin?
You're supposed to say, and we're going to play a great game of, as Charlotte calls it, and I go, hype me up.
Oh, that's true. I'm trying to break a record for how many times you can say Sarah Palin in the intro of a show. I know there's no show in 2023 that said the name Sarah Palin as many times as this one. So I guess we're already in the run. Balls in your court, Gil's Arena. I dare you guys to try to beat us. Also, we're going to play a game that we haven't played in a long time, Charlotte. It's a game called Bet the Show. That's right. That's where we have certain predictions coming our way, and we have to gamble away the show, I guess, or certain elements of the show in favor of them happening. I really didn't get it then. I'm hoping it's going to come back to me as we play it now, but we're going to do that. Would you bet the show that Sarah Palin is going to be a presidential candidate in 2024?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I think Sarah Palin has a great chance.
You see, this is the part where someone in the comments says, I used to like Oddball, but then they got all political.
And it's just Sarah Palin.
Grr. Look, this is a basketball show first and foremost. But 1B, all your Sarah Palin news right here. Coming up next, hype me up. Charlotte.
Yes?
There are some people, some statements, some things that are feeling a little down. Do you think we can do something for them?
Yeah.
What's that?
I think it's time for Hype Me Up.
I feel like you put the emphasis on the wrong syllables there. Hype Me Up. It's the game where we read a name of a person or a team or some entity, and it's the job of the other person to build their self-esteem up. And Charlotte, we get started with Victor Wembanyama's new hair in the style of Jeremy Sochan. And then here's this year's rookie from the Spurs, and they like coloring their hair. Maybe it's a Euro thing. I don't know. Charlotte, you have to, I guess, hype up Victor Wembanyama for this abomination of a hairstyle.
This one's easy. Vic, my dude. I love that you are just fitting in with your team. You're letting them lightly haze you. It's nothing too bad. You look amazing. This is the hairstyle that you need to take your game to the next level. It also shows the fan base how much you care. You could not have done a better job. I think he chose purple. Is that what color that was on the screen? Which isn't really a Spurs color, but it could be now. You are changing the Spurs DNA with your haircut. This is awesome. You're going to crush it, man.
You know what's weird?
What?
In my mind, Charlotte and Victor Wembanyama actually know each other because you interviewed him that one time on draft day. Like, I'm like, oh, no, this is actually her dude she's talking to. Like, that's not just like a saying. This is a good friend
I mean,
of
hers. When I asked him if he could say "Remember the Alamo" in French, and he didn't know what the Alamo was, my heart like dropped into my stomach. I was like, oh boy, we are getting into weird territory here. And then I feel like he doesn't like me, but he probably doesn't remember me. So maybe someday I'll get to ask him about it.
That's how I feel every time I ask you, have you seen XYZ movie? And you say no.
Your heart drops into your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Spencer Dinwiddie is eligible for 4-year, $128 million extension with the Nets.
No, Spence, this is awesome, man. The Nets, they're kind of trying to rebuild from the ashes of what came before with the Kyrie, Kevin Durant, Harden experiment failing miserably. Now you're coming in, and the best time to come in to a situation is when it is ashes, because anything you do looks great. You've got a nice young nucleus of teammates, Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson. I think you can take the reins here as the vet and push this team forward. And then this time, and here's the kicker, when you get your contract, don't take it in cryptocurrency. Take it in regular American dollars, and everything's going to be great. Trust me on this one. You know what you can do? You can take some of it and dabble again in crypto and NFTs and stuff, but just don't take the entirety of it and put it into that. All right? We good, Spence? Go on, get him.
Great job. Great job. Go get him, Spence.
Yep. All right. Next one for you just says Philadelphia 76ers.
Oh.
Your move, Wilder. You got to hype up the Philadelphia 76ers as a staff, record label, and a mother-loving crew. Yeah, take your time on this one. I think I'm going to go get a chair.
Yeah. Philly, my dudes and my dudettes. Here's the way to look at it. Things probably can't get worse. And as soon as I said that, I just thought of about a few different ways that things could get worse. So, but you are near rock bottom. And as Amin just said, the best way to succeed is when everything is ashes. And if I'm being honest, I thought he was going to say when everything is ass, but that's sort of the same thing. So I just think that you're going to weather the storm. You have been through some stuff in the past decade. And, you know, one day the process, it's not even going to be the process anymore. One day you're going to be free of the process and you're just going to be a good ass team. And maybe that's sooner than we think. So don't get too down. You still got Joel for now, and Harden. So maybe they're going to reconcile. I think it's all going to work out. You're going to be great. You're going to be in the hunt this year.
Another classic Charlotte Wilder meander around.
That was the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
And neg them. No, but that was a hard one. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Now I sort of want you to hype up the 76ers now.
It ain't enough time.
Okay. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, give me. Now I'm sitting down now, by the way, for those who don't know at home.
What?
I'm sitting down.
Oh my God. Is this the first time that's ever happened on the show?
That Sixers one took a lot out of me.
Yeah, also it's a Friday and you're hungry.
I am starving. Is it Friday?
Yeah. Well, I don't know actually what day it is because I don't know where we are in the multiverse, but your name, Amin, is Quinn Snyder.
Quinn. You're in the ATL, shawty. You got a whole training camp. You came in last year in the middle of the season. What are you supposed to do? Your playbook is notoriously dense. It's like this thick. There's no way you could implement that mid-season with players that you don't know. So you go to Atlanta. You wait till the offseason. You got your staff now. You get them all up to speed. You're working with Trae Young. You're working with DeJounte Murray, even though you guys tried to trade one of them. But we won't talk about that.
Well,
we'll talk about how you were in the lab with them every day, going over film, talking about the best practices, the best ways you can do this and run this incredibly complex offense. Hell, you might even call Mike Conley in to just give some pointers out there, just in case. You know, I don't know if you guys are still cool or not, but he was pretty good at running your offense after struggling initially. So with the benefit of a brand new first year of training camp and the first full year with the team, I think Atlanta is poised to make a huge leap, Quinn. And guess what? You're on my short list of preseason favorites to win Coach of the Year. That's how much I value you. That's how much I hype you up, sir.
Oh, that's a real hype up. That's like a breaking the fourth wall hype up. Okay, I love it. All right, hit me.
All right, Charlotte. Scoot Henderson and Tyler Hero together in Portland.
Ooh.
Has this happened yet? Where are we in the timeline?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna hype up Portland on this one. I'm gonna hype up the fan base. Assuming this has happened or will happen, and look, I know you've lost Dame. He was your guy. He was your hometown hero. He never wanted to leave, but this is a good thing. You're getting a fresh start. Scoot Henderson, number 3 pick overall. Tyler Hero, 6th man of the year in 2022. These guys could actually do something for you, and you won't be tied to the past of this one guy where you never got him any help. Sorry, I'm making them again. This is just the future, and you got to look ahead, and this could be the thing that gets you over the hump in the playoffs. It's going to be great, Portland.
Just ran out of gas there, huh? Just sputtered to the finish line. All right. What's my last one?
Okay. Your last one is Ben Simmons looking to be this year's most improved player.
Benny and the Jets. Disregard everything I said to Spencer earlier. It's your team, buddy. You were the number 1 overall pick. You were on the way to the Hall of Fame with your all-round game, rebounding, playmaking for others, excellent in transition. You were the guy. And then, things happen, and we're not going to get into that. We don't care about what happened. Here's what we care. Hold on. Let me do the what I like to call the Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds to let you know this is some real rap for you here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Ben, you have the power to make this happen. You can be like Draymond Green, like Bam Adebayo, this engine that makes everything around them go. But you're probably more talented than either of those guys. You just have scratched the surface. You got to get over not being able to shoot. Benny, nobody cares. Look at me, baby. Trust me. Hey, Benny, listen to me. Look at me. Nobody cares that you can't shoot. Don't listen to the internet. All you got to do is just keep dunking on them. Hey, I worked with a guy once who couldn't shoot. You know what his name was? Shaquille O'Neal. You know what he used to say when people say you can't shoot? He said, Google me, lifetime 60%, meaning I dominate around the basket. Benny, you got the hops, you got the body, you got the IQ to do all that around the basket. I'm not saying you're Shaq. I'm not asking you to be Shaq. I'm asking you to not be afraid. And when they foul you, guess what? If you're going to shoot 50% from the free throw line, shoot 20 free throws a game. That's an extra 10 points. Benny, I believe in you.
That was a great one.
This is the Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah, I know, but can someday, Cougs, can we have Amin hype me up?
That's going to do it for this edition of Hype Me Up. Stop looking at my ass.
Bye.
When running on the vice presidential ticket, Sarah Palin used the catchphrase, "You betcha," a lot. And so, in honor of Sarah Palin, you bet the show. That's right. It's this game where we're presented with a premise, and we got to bet on it because we're on DraftKings Network, so betting is always got to be part of what we're doing here. Charlotte, are you ready to play Bet the Show?
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, we didn't really understand how to do it in Vegas, so let's see if anything has changed.
Nothing has changed. I read the card, so I'm just letting you know. All right, here we go. The premise: a player will score 70 points this season. The wager: are you willing to bet your Zoom filters and backgrounds for a week? If you win all the filters and backgrounds you want, plus you get to choose your co-host too. If you lose, Zoom filters and backgrounds are forbidden for a week. Now, here's the deal, though. Like, isn't Charlotte supposed to be transitioning to a studio soon, and we're not going to be doing Zoom anymore?
I mean, that's what they tell me, but the studio's ready, and no one's been like, Charlotte, go into the studio.
You got to. Well, here's the deal. One, you got to go down there and just beat the door down and kick Pablo.
Yeah, I'm going in on Monday. I mean,
there you go. Go there and you let them know what's what. But the other thing also is apparently we can change the background there because there is an LED screen, unlike in this jail cell studio I have here. So
that mid-century modern.
Yeah, whatever it is, Craftsman, whatever it is, this Craftsman prison that I'm in. So, Charlotte, a player will score 70 points this season.
I don't love that bet. I mean.
So
I don't think anyone's going to score 70.
You're going under 70.
Yeah.
You know what?
Was Kobe the last person to have a 60-point game?
Donovan Mitchell had one last season.
Honest truth.
Oh, I forgot.
Yeah, and then Devin Booker had one a few years earlier in his career. Damian Lillard had one not too long ago. There have been some 70-point games, Charlotte. I mean, I feel like, you know what I feel like this is, Hollywood? Charlotte has PTSD because one of those 70-point games happened against her Celtics. So
yeah, I blocked it out. I completely scrubbed that from my memory. I don't know. Okay, sure. Yeah. What do you think? Would you take this bet?
Are you taking the bet or not? Don't ask me what I'm doing.
I don't want to. I don't want to take the bet.
I'm taking the
over.
Now. I think multiple people will score 70 points in a game. Not the same game, mind you, but multiple people. Because guess what? Nothing in the NBA is built to allow defenders to defend. This thing is only going to get easier as guys get better and more adept at taking advantage of the rules. Charlotte.
Even though only 7 guys have done it in NBA history?
About to be 8, maybe even 9.
All right. What happens if we bet against each other? Have we established these rules?
Yeah. I mean, like, if I win, I get to choose your background. If you win, you get to choose your own background. What? I don't see what's so hard about that.
But I already get to choose my own background. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
LeBron James will have played more than 10 games this season before New Year's Eve. Are you willing to bet not having to do bet the show for a month? If you win, no bet the show for a month. If you lose, you have to bet the show every show for a week and put your heart into it.
That's an interesting like add-in right there, right? Like everything up to that point is like, sure. It's like, but you got to put your heart into it, like, crap. 10 games?
Because Hollywood knows you, and that's the one thing that could actually sway something.
Look, there's like 20 games in November, 20 games in December. That's like 40 games right there, or 30 games, I think. Maybe it's like 15 games. I don't know. Someone check a schedule. There's plenty of games, the point is, in November and December. I'm giving October off. Of course he's going to play 10 games. Yeah. And I won't have to play Bet the Show for a month, but guess what? I didn't have to play it for 2 months. For the last 2 months, so I don't even understand what am I gaining here? Like life as usual?
Yeah, but your heart. You got to put heart into it.
Heart? Charlotte.
Yes.
Along the same lines.
Yes.
Kyrie Irving will miss more than half this season for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Okay. The wager. Are you willing to bet not mentioning the Suns or the Celtics for an entire month? Those are 2 of the best teams in the league. If you win, you can dedicate an entire show to all things Suns or Celtics. If you lose, people will question your loyalty forever. Why is the Suns? I don't get the connect. Wouldn't it be the Mavs?
That's for you, I think. I think that's supposed to be for you.
I don't give a fuck about the Suns. Like, I mean, they're a great team, but like, oh, you broke my heart. I can't talk about the Suns.
You can't tell Sun stories.
I can't tell Sun stories.
I'm going to take this bet. I'm going to take this bet because I think that we can come up with what?
You're going to take the bet that he's going to miss 41 plus games? More than half, actually, 42 plus games.
Yeah, I'm going to take a bold bet.
This is a fictional reality.
I'm not taking that bet.
All right.
He's playing at least 41 games. Like the numbers 40.
This is why we make great television, sure. Amin. We've got that tension.
This is great.
All right, Amin. Scoot Henderson will average more points per game this year than Victor Wembanyama. Are you willing to bet complaining about the show for a week? If you win, you can complain and whine and yell all you want at the producers. If you lose, no complaining for an entire week. In fact, You have to gush over how much you love the show and how the producers are the greatest producers you've ever been so lucky to work with.
All right, so again, this is one of those things like, so, I mean, bet the show. If you win, you get to live life as you usually do anyway. Mm-hmm. So there's no upside for me. It's literally, hey, status quo. But if I lose, I have to do this awful, awful, horrendous thing. Yeah, I think Scoot will average more than Victor Wembanyama. I'll be surprised if Victor Wembanyama averages enough minutes to average enough points to get more than Scoot. I know the Spurs are going to be very cautious with him. They're going to want to bring him along slowly. They're going to want to protect their prize investment. Meanwhile, the Blazers need to sell tickets, and Scoot is as exciting a product, especially if Damian Lillard isn't going to be there, which I am still operating under that premise that Damian Lillard will not be there. So yes, I'll accept that bet. I think Scoot's going to get it done.
I like that you just talked about all the reasons you shouldn't take the bet and then took the bet.
Well, no, because it's a terrible bet. Like, it's a terrible bet, but I just don't think I'm going to lose. So that's why I'll do it anyway, because that's how confident I am.
Playing with fire over here.
Yeah. I'm so confident I'll take a bet where I don't win anything if I win, other than just being right.
Well, thanks for watching Bet the Show, folks.
Raka! The greatest podcast episode I've ever done was me and Pablo Torre and Ethan Strauss. And Pablo just wrote this deep dive feature on James Harden. He traveled to Houston. He hung out with James Harden for like 3 days. This is when James Harden was dating Khloe Kardashian. Pablo had unfettered access, and he wrote this incredible. It's probably one of his best written pieces. And so we did a podcast about it. We're like, yo, let's do this podcast. But what ended up happening was that same day, Steve Sarkisian, remember him? He was the SC coach, and he had that whole like scandal. It was like an alcohol scandal or whatever. And the receipt from like this coach's getaway to Palm Springs had come out. I said, do you guys see the receipt? And they said, yeah. I said, look, it was like 14 bottles of Grey Goose and 28 bottles of, this and 124 like Miller Lights or whatever, 18 shots of Patron. And then at the end of the receipt, it was like 2 Michelob Lights. And I was like, this man, this great magnanimous man has bought out the bar. Hey guys, we got all types of stuff. Help yourself. And some ingrate just said, excuse me, I want something that's not part of this. And like, there's always one person, like, just, you're not paying for any of this. Just accept what's here, man. I get it. You like to keep your figure or whatever. All right, man. Like, there's like a calorie difference between Miller Lite and Michelob Ultra. It's not a big deal.
Right.
So, we joked about that, but then like we started talking about, what's crazy is that alcoholism is rampant in sports. And it's not just like coaches and players, it's the media. It's, trainers, it's video coordinators, because we're all on the road, we're all traveling. You get to your hotel, you check in, what is there to do? You go down to the hotel bar and you drink. Hey, we got to meet up with so-and-so. Some people who work with us, some people who work somewhere else that I'm colleagues with. What do? You guys go out and get drinks. Steve Sarkisian is talking about alcoholism, but it's like, he's not the only one. He's just the one that got caught and got put out on Front Street for it. And from there, we transitioned into Harden and Harden's penchant for partying, and it was a great podcast, and we talked about the Kardashian effect and like all that stuff and like substance abuse and hanging out with celebrity, blah, blah, blah. It was amazing. It went deep and wide and everything. And we put out the podcast, and within 15 minutes, they told us to take it down. And the reason why, I was like, why? It's like, well, first of all, you didn't introduce the guest. I'm like, the name of the podcast is like a sit down with Pablo Torre. Like, it's not radio where someone's like, oh, what is this? I don't know who's happening. It's like, you clicked on it. You know what's happening. Number 2, they said, we're making light of alcoholism. I said, we're not. We're actually being blunt in a way that nobody is about how widespread it is in this industry. And number 3, it was a great segue to talk about Harden and all that other stuff. They said, it doesn't matter, take it down. Took it down. I shit you not, an hour later, Lamar Odom rushed to hospital after overdose or whatever. And we're like, we had nobody had a full in-depth conversation about the Kardashian effect, substance abuse. Nobody had that. We had it instantly when the news broke. We could have been out there. It could have been one of the best performing episodes ever. But no, the powers that be. What are we doing?